What's going on, champs and chambettes? It's FireMonkey here, and recently I've been playing some Final Fantasy XIV while I've been sick and everything. Yes, I am currently in my sick era, but that is not the topic of today's YouTube video. Despite me being sick, I thought this would be a very important topic to talk about because it goes to the magical land of YouTube and some things that have actually been happening recently in the terms of just, hey, there's some crazy stuff going on with other content creators, so let's go all the way back here and talk about someone known as Jax Films. So all of this starts when it comes to Jax Films having a secondary YouTube channel called Jax Films, which was created a long time ago, right? Around like a year ago, something as far as I can recall. If we go down here, yeah, 11 months ago. But eventually the channel just kind of stopped uploading. The channel was kind of, just at war with React channels in general, having all of these meme joke versions of reactions where it was, for example, him reacting to the Super Mario Bros. Movie trailer, but there were like 5 of him, right? There were a lot of videos like this. There was him responding to, a video of his own video reacting to everything else with 4 of him. It was a whole entire thing that was going on, but eventually, he stopped uploading until he returned a few months ago to actually start view casing all of, SSSniperWolf's videos, and instead of just, reacting to them, give a rating to it. Give more of like, a unique interaction to the whole entire video, transforming it into being content that, is fair use and everything, while still talking about how he doesn't like these freebooting channels that are just kind of yoinking other people's TikToks or YouTube videos or whatever else, and just sitting there reacting to it without much to really say. He even invented this format right here called SSSniperWolf Bingo, which was actually created by one of his viewers who suggested it for a video, and it spun off into its whole entire subgenre, which I'll be honest, I actually enjoy it, right? Sometimes I go to the live stream, and sometimes I participate in the SSSniperWolf Bingo, because even if SSniperWolf's content is kind of cringe in my opinion, it is still something that's kind of fun to interact with and, see if you can get a bingo by seeing how often certain things reappear in SSniperWolf's content. But this has been going on for a while now, and the whole entire thing happening behind the scenes here and everything else is just, hey, Jax Films doesn't like this whole easy reaction content or whatever else. Jax Films doesn't like how everything's kind of just being stolen and how, tons of stuff keeps happening regarding drama with SSniperWolf, and it even bled into his main channel originally around 3 months ago, which he's talking about SSniperWolf like a year ago too as well. It's been going on for a long time, and he's kind of, mentioned all this type of stuff happening, talking about the war on stolen content, talking about SSniperWolf and how SSniperWolf's content's getting worse, more freebooting going on, all that type of stuff. But then it hit a turning point very recently where 17 hours ago, SSniperWolf doxed Jax Films over on Instagram. So SSniperWolf posted this image on Instagram, on the Instagram stories, whatever else, saying, should I go visit at Jax Films, literally adding the dude, mentioning that he lives 5 minutes away from my shoot, and then, having a yes or no poll where the people can actually vote on it. I'm uncertain if people voted on this or not, because we haven't seen the results of it, and SSniperWolf deleted this from their Instagram story, but you may notice up here that there were 2 other stories afterwards, and one of these was an image from the outside of Jax Films' house, which is basically doxing. Regardless of what you think about the whole entire situation, regardless of if you're on Jax Films' side, if you're on SSniperWolf's side, SSniperWolf going ahead and posting an image to her following on Instagram, showcasing the entire house of where Jax Films and his wife is currently living, is doxing, right? And keep in mind that SSniperWolf is a creator that YouTube constantly promotes, and even if you're unlogged into YouTube, right? If I was to go over here and make a new incognito tab or whatever and just type in YouTube, if I was to go ahead and showcase that screen to you guys, well, okay, if I do that here, for some reason this is all I'm seeing, which isn't exactly accurate. Let me go ahead and turn off ad block, see if that changes it here. No? Okay. Before, they would typically just recommend you stuff to watch, but it seems YouTube's just like, hey, look, if you want to watch something, go ahead and start searching first. But anyways, if you would go to like YouTube TV or anything along those lines, typically what would end up happening is you would see SSniperWolf's content advertised to you, because SSniperWolf was a very prominent person who always had their content hoisted upwards by YouTube because she was a mainstay person on YouTube, right? And I mean, I've listened to a million controversies regarding SSniperWolf before, from faked gameplay to a whole entire situation back in the early days of YouTube, back when we had old versions of UIs and everything, regarding how she's acted towards other people and stuff. And it seems like somehow, despite everything that has been exposed about her in the past and despite everything going on, she continues to exist and be in this same little bubble here. And of course, Jax Films goes on to mention that she literally posted a video of the outside of their house to all 5.6 million of her followers to see, and then deleted it, and talking about, how originally, just make the videos talking about, hey, I don't enjoy your content, sure, that was one thing to do. You know, Jax Films is like, hey, you know, that's one thing. But when you start going to the point of actually doxing someone who is critiquing your content and giving you criticism, that's when you've become more than just this nuisance on YouTube who has annoying content and is freebooting off of other people. And that is when you actually hit a spot where you shouldn't have a platform, right? Because you're not only just making terrible content that, you know, is appealing to maybe, you know, like a very, very young crowd or whatever. You're not only stealing content, but now you're literally putting someone else's life at risk, because one of the worst things as a content creator is getting your personal information leaked out there, getting doxed by a personal, like, you know, it's understandable. Getting doxed in general, it sucks, right? And in most situations, people are going to get doxed by, you know, just some random person out there on the internet. But in other cases, you have a situation like this where instead of being doxed by a random person on the internet, you're being doxed by someone with millions of followers. And that's going to bring a lot more attention to, hey, this is where someone lives, than just existing and having someone else doxing you, because it sucks regardless. But it still is a situation where it's like, you shouldn't dox or anything, right? Regardless of who you are. I've even had people in the Fortnite scene who I've contacted before being like, hey man, I've heard stuff about you doxing, you've got to cut it off. And some people are just like, hey, I'll do whatever I want, it's my life or whatever. And I completely despise the whole entire doxing scene and all that type of stuff. I don't see it morally correct at all. Even if you're in drama with someone, you don't just go publicly posting their address for everyone to see, even if you take it down shortly after, right? But it's like, you gotta also pay attention to the fact that she added Jax Films on the actual dox post or whatever else, being like, hey, come on out, let's talk like adults or whatever. And it's like, at that point, you're just threatening for something bad to happen. And then after Jax Films made his tweet publicly calling it out and everything, as you see, got 18.6k retweets, 192k likes, 16.8 million views, all the type of stuff. SSSniperWolf ended up deleting their like doxing post or whatever on Instagram and saying that this creep has been harassing me for months, then plays victim saying I threatened him when I just wanted to talk to him. I have no ill intentions. It's so sad when people have to constantly create drama to pay their bills. And it's like, I'm sorry, SSSniperWolf. Listen, I might be a little sick right now. You might have a stuffed up nose, might not be feeling the greatest, but even I have a brain that is functional enough to the point of understanding that this isn't him being a creep. There's one thing between someone making content talking about how all of your videos are bad and how you're not getting permission for the content you're using on YouTube. That's one thing, and that's not really creepy. That's just, you know, internet trauma or whatever else. And then there's another thing where you're actually showing up to someone else's house to be like, hey, let's just talk with no ill intentions. If someone you don't like is going to show up to your house out of nowhere and post it on their Instagram story for millions of people to see, then that is when you become a creep, not the other person, right? And in this situation, there were no creeps until SSSniperWolf decided to go ahead and start posting addresses and images of people where they live on their story. And it's like, even Jax Films goes over here to say that the harassing you claim I've been doing is documenting recent examples of you stealing creators' content, stealing jokes, and failing to provide transformative commentary, which is a true thing, because on his channel, there's been an interesting bit of discussion that happens in some of these episodes where, for example, you'll watch one of the episodes, and in it, someone will actually mention, oh, you know, I submitted a takedown request on one of my TikToks that were in one of the videos, and she removed my video part of it, right? You know, cutting up video parts, getting rid of certain pieces and bits of it and everything else. And other parts where they're like, hey, they actually went ahead and stole the caption that was on the original video they used word for word instead of giving their own commentary, right? And there's a lot of valid critiques going on there, especially when it comes to the type of content SSSniperWolf has and makes. It just feels so odd to see it going down, right? And then it's like you have her continuing to go on this tirade over on Instagram being like, this is obsessive behavior, this is the only ways you can get views on YouTube, don't you have a wife? And it's like, just listen, like, okay, I don't need to hear your voice, SSSniperWolf, get out of here. Anyways, it's like, listen, yeah, he has a wife. He lives with a wife. You dox their location. You should know that pretty well. You don't have to ask if they have a wife. And it's not really being obsessive behavior. We know Jax Films doesn't like this type of content. You know, this whole entire, like, React channel stuff. Because if we even type, like, React Jinx or whatever, we can go back to videos from, like, 7 years ago where Jax Films didn't like this whole entire React content and kind of just mentioned how, hey, Jinx made a video reacting to an entire video by Jax Films and just stood there smiling for most of the time, right? When the video ends, you know, it's like had a little bit of commentary or whatever else, just some things here and there, and that was all the video was about. So he kind of made a video just kind of talking about how it was a stupid thing, and Jinx's channel isn't even around anymore, right? If we go ahead and just remove Jax Films here and just type React Jinx, that channel isn't really here. You kind of see some like uploads about people talking about Jinx and everything else, but you can't find Jinx as a creator anymore because he's not on the platform anymore. So it's not like this is a new obsessive behavior on just SSSniperWolf. This is a behavior he's had for years now regarding all types of React channels, and he is kind of justified in the sense that you're not even asking people for permission to use their content. You're sometimes using videos that were stolen and re-uploaded by someone else. You're sometimes purposely cutting out watermarks and everything. You're having moments where you're having to cut out bits and pieces from your recorded videos and uploaded things because of all these situations, and no one's on SSSniperWolf's side, right? Nobody is on our side. There's been so many bits and pieces of drama that have happened constantly in the past years now, or practically decade at this point, between SSSniperWolf and the content they create, and it's just crazy to see how this is a situation that is continuing to go on, because like, I'm gonna be honest, I kind of like I already mentioned this, but I like the whole entire Jax films, like, you know, bingo board and everything, because like, if your content is that repetitive to the point where someone can make a bingo board about your content and it will continue being filled out episode after episode after episode, you might want to start changing some stuff up a little bit here and there, I'm not gonna lie. And like, SSSniperWolf continues to try playing the victim, saying, accusing me of doxing is defamation. I have no idea how to dox. He literally posted his address on Google and said I threatened him and doxed him, and it's an interesting thing, because firstly, what YouTuber is going to put their address on Google? The only YouTuber I've known to ever purposely put their address on YouTube was Jake Paul or Logan Paul or whichever Paul it was that had the whole entire Team 10 thing going on. They have their address publicly on Google, but no YouTuber wants people showing up to their house being like, hey, I watch your content. Can you give me a hug? Can you go ahead and sign my left eyebrow or something? No YouTuber is actively going out there wanting that to happen to them. So no, he didn't post his address on Google. He doesn't want his address on Google. I mean, there's people who spend hundreds upon hundreds of dollars to agencies to help get their info wiped from the public so that stuff like this doesn't happen. And SSSniperWolf is like, I'm not doxing, this is defamation, all this type of stuff. You posted an image outside of his house showcasing his house to your following. That is doxing, and as Jackson himself says, if that's not doxing, why did you delete it, right? And it's just crazy to see this whole entire thing go down and just see how often this is going to continue happening. And I just really hope that something gets done with it, because you're seeing tons of content creators out there making videos about the situation now. It is continuing to get more and more severe. I mean, each of these posts talking about everything, 2.8 million views, 1.5 million views. His wife even getting 3.5 million views on a tweet, 3.9 million views, 1.4 million, 5.3 million, 16.9 million, right? Like, this isn't just some small little issue or whatever. It is taking a situation where someone is just kind of making fun of your videos and how repetitive they are and how uncreative and original they are, or I mean unoriginal, and critiquing it, right? And your response is, oh, come outside, Jackie Poo. Come on out. Come over here. I'm outside your house right now, posting it to my Instagram, following over 5.6 million. Come on, let's just have an interesting little talk. There's Discord, there's Twitter, there's a million other places. If you wanted to have a talk with Jax Films, you could have a talk by trying to organize it online. You don't try forcing a talk by threatening them by being like, I'm outside your house. Come on out. Let's just talk, and showcasing his house for millions of people to see. I don't know. It's a whole entire situation that I just don't agree with at all. I think that the entire thing going down here is just wild, and seeing how it's going to continue happening and how it's been going on for months, years upon years now, and SSSniperWolf is still here on the platform. SSSniperWolf continues to get, you know, like, good publicity from YouTube and everything, regardless of all the controversies that happened in the past. It is wild to see, and I just wanted to make a video rambling about it, because I think that what needs to happen here, right? Personally, I like Jax Films content. I don't like SSSniperWolf's content, so maybe I have a little bit of bias here, but I think that Jax Films, what he's doing, is a good thing. You know, I think it is nice, the type of style he's doing or whatever else, and I don't think it's really trying to infringe on rights like SSSniperWolf is, where she just kind of yoinks videos, sometimes yoinks what is even said in the caption of the videos, and posts them, because it's just like, one hand, you're actually making a game out of it, right? You're having some fun with it and everything else, giving rankings, you know, giving bingo cards and everything else out for watching these videos and try to critique them, and then on the other hand, you're just kind of stealing content and uploading it for easy money, views, and all that type of of stuff, and it's just ridiculous to me. But of course, I'd love to hear your comments down below regarding the whole entire situation. What do you think about it, and who you think's in the right? And until next time, hope champs and chambettes enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider subscribing and support the content I create, and I'll catch you guys next time with another upload. Peace out.